Next up, we have Surface by Dimrain47, featured in Geometry Dash. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, all that good stuff. Once again, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas 2025, which is a real possibility at the rate that we're going, which blows my mind. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I will take a single fan fiction of the choice of the community, whatever you all want, and I will fully voice act, produce, record a audiobook for it. Brained. I'm thinking too many things at the same time. This has to be done legit though, so no account duping, no buying followers, no botting, nothing like that. Sharing the videos, bringing people to the community, getting shout outs from other creators, something like that. Whatever it is through legitimate and honest means, do that. Hype function on YouTube, I don't know how it works, but there's people in the Discord that do, so that kind of stuff. And members, if you are a member on YouTube, you get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you are a paid member on YouTube, regardless of the tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, so on Fridays. Two disclaimers on top of that. Number one, this is my first time listening to this, so I will be pausing a lot, and I will be speaking a lot as I will be pointing things out and explaining things as I hear them or as I realize them. And number two, this is recorded on a single take, live on stream. I already stumbled upon my words. I will do it again. Whatever happens, happens. With that being said, let's do this. Surface by Dimrain47. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna go back a second here. We start with a very unusual way of setting up a beat. We have a synth that sounds like an echo of an anvil being hit to me. Like an edited echo of an anvil. We're having that, and then we're bouncing between two other samples, giving us like a snare. And let's see where it goes, because I heard something else. Yeah, some Darth Vader. We bring in some alarms. Okay, some siren alarms. Hell yeah! Number one, hell yeah. Okay, so now we bring in a couple of elements. We bring in our drum beat. Pretty nice, pretty high energy. And we now have two separate synths doing a couple of things. One of them is giving us our chords, which I think is arpeggiation. Very, very fast arpeggios. Arpeggios being when you play a chord one note at a time. And one of two things is happening. It's either two synths doing this, or there's one of them and there's just louder. But basically, what I think it's two synths. One of them is doing the arpeggios, and the arpeggios are going up and down. And whenever we hit one of the high points, we have a second synth playing that high point to accentuate that part of the rhythm, giving us the motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. So basically what we're getting over here is we are having the arpeggios happening, and they're just happening very, very fast. So this is just a visualization of what we're getting. However, we're also getting another note being played at the same time at the high points, giving us a very cool sense of melody while we are still having the chords in the background. Very, very Beethoven-esque. This is very common in piano music. If you want to listen to a very good example of another piece that does something like that with the arpeggios, listen to the Moonlight Sonata, third movement by Ludwig van Beethoven. Incredible piano piece, and he does it a lot with the arpeggios that way. However, now we're doing this in an electronic sense, and it's happening a lot faster. Let's see where this goes. Oh, and we have another synth in the background just holding down the chords with the rhythm. Sounds like a piano. Sounds like a piano synth sample thing. So yeah, let's see where it goes. And now you hear it. Now we have the piano. We have toned down. We have taken away the synth with the really, really fast arpeggios. And now we just have the melody as it was meant to be, with just the piano in the background, giving us a fresh look at this at the actual motif without some of the rest of the fluff that we had put before. Good way of expanding the material, of reusing the material you just gave us. Just remove some of the complications. It can work either way, like you introduce a simpler version, then you the complicated version, or as we did right now, we introduce the complicated version followed by the simpler version. It can work either way. Dimrain has chosen to do the complicated version first. Let's see where it goes. And we develop the melody. Back we come to the arpeggios. And we start developing the melody with what we call sequencing. So, music, you have three main elements: melody, harmony, and rhythm. Those are the three components of music. Not elements, but components. When it comes to melody, you have the motifs, and those you're going to develop using many techniques. What we're using right now is called sequencing. So we're using sequencing plus a couple of other minor things, but sequencing is basically you have a melodic shape of any kind, and you're going to repeat it, but you're not going to repeat it from the same spot. We are going to repeat it from probably higher up or somewhere else, and we are also engaging, I think, in inversion, which is that we are sequencing and inverting one of the motifs. So instead of playing it and repeating it, we're going to repeat one, and instead we're going to play it upside down, giving us that downward shape that we are going to need to be able to start the whole pattern over, building a couple of phrases with the motif and building an entire melody out of it. Very cool. Very good way of using your material. Let's see where it goes. Back we go, and we change the drum beat. Nice. Same melody, same chords, we just changed the drums a little bit. Not too much to fully change the feeling of the entire thing. And Classical VIP, welcome today. No, that was last week that we didn't have a stream on Friday. That was a week ago. This is this week. All right, let's see. So yeah, we have changed very little of the drums. Very subtle. It does not change the connotations. It keeps the vibe pretty much the same. I think we've just changed how the drums sound a little bit. Mainly the samples, I think. Let's see where it goes. We bring back the still with the arpeggios. We're just going back and forth between the versions. Alright, so we had a moment where we brought a new version, a new variation of the motif, as you could hear in a new synth sample, and now it sounds like we've taken a complete hard turn. Let's see where it goes. Laminator, welcome today. How you doing? We bring in samples that sound like orchestral string samples, doing a variation of the motif. We're still using the same material. We're just bringing it down here. Rhythmically, we're still keeping basically the same motif, and we're trying to keep some of the shapes that we had before. So yes, the stream is already going for 3 hours. Yeah. Like we usually do 5 hours plus on our streams. Yeah. All right, let's see where this goes. Ooh, new variation, second layer. Variation of the motif still, but now it's sequenced, it's developed a little bit more. Still a variation of the motif, which is a very, very, very good way of developing your material. Once again, when you're making music, you want to keep a very careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. And one of the things about instrumental music is that you have to deal with something called form. Form is just the structure of the music that you have. Unlike songs, by the way, songs is when you have lyrics, when you have vocals, and the vocals are the driving force of the music. When it comes to instrumental music, you have to use form, and this is going to be heavily dependent on each individual melody, the motifs, and everything. And usually the way it works is that you're going to have section A, where you're going to be developing your motif in certain ways. It's usually going to be focusing on your main motif, and then you're going to go to section B, which is going to be a contrast of some sort. However, you can't fully bring completely unrelated material, or you can, it's just the likelihood of you overwhelming your listener and then tuning out, it becomes higher the more unrelated the material is. So how do you make a new contrasting section, something that sounds different but still the same nonetheless? You need to have some sort of connective tissue, some sort of connecting material. In the case of Dimrain over here, we are still using the same motif that we have. We're using the overall shapes, we're using the overall rhythms, and we are doing a different variation of this. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. So far, what we've done, by the way, structurally speaking, is we've done the section A twice, and now we are started section B. This is a very, very common structure, the AABA. So let's see where it goes. Change most things based on the drums. A good tip is to change most things except the bass and the drums. It depends. It depends. By the way, that's the response you want from a good lawyer. If you want to know if you have a good lawyer, just ask them whatever legal hypothetical, and you will know your lawyer is good if the lawyer responds with "it depends," because then they're gonna put in more context to everything. So. Right now you said a good tip is to change most things except the drums and the bass. And that is one approach that you can have. However, if you end up introducing a completely new unrelated melody that has nothing to do with your initial material, it is going to cause an uncanny separation of the material that you've done before and that you've done after. Can it still work? Yes. Is it likely? No. It becomes increasingly more difficult. It becomes the more unrelated your material is compared to what you've already done, the more difficult it is to make it so that the listener will stay tuned. That is one of the problems that progressive music has, for example. Genres like djent, genres like prog metal, jazz, freeform jazz, these kinds of things, that they just go from section A to section B to section C to section D, and they bring completely unrelated material after completely unrelated material after completely unrelated material. And the more unrelated material you use in a row, in a sequence, the more disjointed it starts sounding, the more incoherent the overall structure starts feeling, and the more likely you are to have your listener just tune out halfway through. Because a boring piece of music is not boring because it repeats too much, or because it has too much new material, or because it's too slow, or because it's too fast. It's because the composer has failed to... Or it can always be the listener as well. But the composer has failed to match the energy that the listener is expecting according to the initial material. So, yeah. There you go. Rant over. Let's see where this goes. We reintroduce the drums. Nice. Oh, the dark horse happened. There you go. We repeat this. And we introduce a very simple ostinato with that. I think it's the same sample we had at the beginning of that anvil at the top. Just playing. Oh, this is great. Giving us a sense of rhythm without the drums. And we changed chords, still playing the same thing. We are now sequencing the entire section. We're basically repeating the whole thing. We just change what chord it happened in. Same concept as sequencing. We're just doing it on a more macro scale. Let's see where this goes. We're slowly reintroducing the drums and everything else. Nice. Nice. And off the ramp we go. True Super Ninja, welcome today. How you doing? Off the ramp. Okay, so off the ramp is a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial, by that I mean that there's no official academic term for it, or at least I'm not using it for the sake of simplicity. And off the ramp is what I refer to a transition. It can be as short as a couple of beats, it can be as long as an entire section, and the point of it is to make your listener feel suspended up in the air at the mercy of inertia. Kind of like going off a ramp, waiting to see where you land. How do you achieve that? You remove the drums, maybe the bass as well, and usually you want to keep things kind of up in the higher end of things, which is what Dimrain is going right now. He kind of did that at the start of section B, but the reason why I didn't call it in going off the ramp is because he went down with the rest, so that was more of a grounding moment. Let's see where this goes. We bring in the piano. Very nice. Which I think is a variation. I think this is part of section A. So yeah, piano and strings. We are doing, I think, a simplified version of the original motif, because this sounds a lot like the original one. So I am going to call this an A prime. Prime means a variation. We're doing a simplified, smaller scale version of what we had before. Let's see if I'm right. Straight into a build-up. Straight back into A. Look at that. I was right. Straight back into A with that initial variation. With the variations and everything. There you go. Back to the arpeggios. Basically repeating everything, yeah? Man, such a fun melody. It's such a good melody. Changing the drums once again with the variation. Nice. Nice. By the way, with how much this has gone back and forth, I would even be tempted to say that this first A did not exist. It's just an ABA with how long the sections turned out to be. So instead of being AABA, I think it's just ABA. ABA prime, which is a fairly straightforward. By the way, if it's ABA, it's some form of binary. That's what it's called in music. So it's some form of binary. This one is not a simple binary, because a simple binary is just AB. ABA... I already forgot how it's called. Let's continue. Ternary. Yeah, ternary. Yeah. Ternary, thank you. Yeah, there we go. We got this. Variation, very nice. And we engage in modulation, likely for the outro. You can hear how we changed chords. This is what is called a direct modulation. Modulation is when you change sets of chords. Once again, 3 components to music: melody, harmony, and rhythm. Harmony is chords. What chords you're using, what scales you get from the chords, what chords you get out of your scales, the relationship between them, the sets of scales, the sets of chords that you use, the relationship between them. And whenever you change from one set of chords to another set of chords, it's called modulation. And modulation is going to take many different shapes and forms. There are many, very different types, but the one we just did right now is called direct modulation. We were in set of chords number 1. We decided to not make anything fancy. Set of chords number 1, now set of chords number 2. There we go. Let's see where this goes. Because we're in outro territory, how are you going to finish this? Variation of the melody, nice. Remove the drums. keeping a version of the motif, just fading it. Fade away. Okay, this is not a fade out, because we had a moment of finishing. This is a fade away, which is more acceptable because this is just still that first part of the motif. We were not... A fade out is if the whole thing was just continued to loop and then it just slowly started going down in volume. This one, we had a moment where the drums stopped and we just had the first part of the motif being played over and over, slowly being toned down in volume, kind of like the echoes dissipating. So yes, there is a difference between a fade out and a fade away. I'm going to emulate a fade out over here. That is a fade out. What I just did is a fade out. What Dimrain did over here would be a fade away. Because now we still have that last bit, but you can tell that the track had an ending. Like the track ends... The track ends right now. That's when the track ends. Everything tones down, and then we just have this thing echoing a couple more times until the energy dissipates. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Not a fade out, so passes. I would say fadeaways. I'm a lot more neutral towards fadeaways than I am for fadeouts. So there you go. And there you have it. Surface by Dimrain47. This one has been... I know that this one has been in the requests for a very long time. Very happy we finally got it done. There you go. Featured in Geometry Dash. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what has happened here musically. So... if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on the notifications, become a member, all that good stuff. If we somehow, once again, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers before Christmas 2025, which is a real possibility right now, it just blows my mind. If we somehow hit that, by the way, thank you everybody for being here. I do not take this for granted. I keep saying this. I am grateful every day that I get to do this at all. I don't care that I'm not making a full living out of this. I care that I get to do this and that y'all even like it. So yes, if we somehow hit 10,000 on YouTube before Christmas, I will take a single fan fiction of the choice of the community, whatever y'all want, and I will make a fully record, produce, and voice act an audiobook for it. We have to achieve this through legitimate means though, so no account duping, no botting, no buying followers, nothing like that. Share the videos, bring people to the community, conspire with other creators to get me collaboration, stuff like that, whatever you want, as long as it's honest. As long as it's honest and legitimate. And members get early access to the content. If you schedule the videos for the week, I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays. If you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of the tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them on Saturday. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, if you're on the live stream, do not request just yet. We have one more thing to do before that. And if you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord server, link down below, go to the LFA requests channel, and follow the instructions on the pinned message. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you're not in Europe, we have the full streaming schedule showing up in your local time zone on the Discord and the Twitch channels, both linked down below. So if you live in Boston and you're like, oh, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Don't worry. No worries. We have the full streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in the Discord and the Twitch. And follow the gaming channel. We have a gaming channel because, of course, we have a gaming channel. Games are Basterd. That's where I put the recordings of the gaming after shows when they happen. Link down below, or just search on YouTube for the username, same as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. Surface by Dimrain47. Really good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.